Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ashlee Janae, and in today's video, we're going to talk about Ashlee Janae. I really didn't have much of an intro because this is a very tragic story that I do kind of want to touch on and talk about in regards to like everything that is going on. So Ashlee Janae is a young 31-year-old woman who essentially went on a trip to a country in Africa with her fiance. And so it's important to note that Ashlee is a black woman and her fiance is this white man, right? An older white man. So there is an age difference and there is a cultural difference, right? Culture difference in like age and also race. So Ashlee essentially did not make it back from her trip because she is being alleged that she did herself, which a lot of people, including myself, don't necessarily believe happened, right? And so a lot of people are like giving the side eye and pointing the blame towards this man that she was engaged to. This was supposed to be a birthday trip and just a lot of things. And so the story just does not sit right with me, and it doesn't sit right with a lot of people because it doesn't make sense for such a young, beautiful, vibrant woman who seemingly was well connected in the industry and in the entertainment industry, because it was her birthday. She's in this relationship. She seems happy. She is just freshly engaged. So why would someone who has all of these positive things, seemingly what we can see on camera, got going on in her life, want to unalive herself, right? In such a gruesome manner. And so as the story comes out and unfolds, we're hearing a lot of things, right? Whereas parents are now spoken out. Whereas basically the hotel got in contact with them to let them know what happened to their daughter. The fiance took about 11 hours to contact the parents after Ashlee was unalive.
My daughter Ashley, she's no longer here with us, and we're trying to find out why.
On April 5th, influencer Ashley Robinson, who goes by Ashlee Janae on Instagram, was celebrating her 31st birthday in Zanzibar, Tanzania. She was on the vacation with her boyfriend of 1 year, who popped the question just 2 days before.
She was starting the next chapter of her life. She called us and FaceTimed us to share with us her travel.
Ashlee's mother says she never would have expected that less than a week later, her daughter would be dead. On April 8th, she says Ashlee called saying she and her fiance got into an argument and were moved to separate rooms. The next day, she received another call, this time from her fiance.
He told me that Ashlee did something to herself and that she was being taken to the hospital. I said, what happened, when? And he told me it had been 11 hours prior.
Hours later, the luxury resort the couple was staying at called saying that Ashlee passed away. According to the hospital's medical report, Ashlee had an unidentified mark around her neck. They wrote, according to her husband, he found she hung herself on the door with several question marks.
Sometime Jill went back to the room with security, and that's how they found her.
Ashlee was also taken to a second hospital who listed her cause of death as cerebral hypoxia by strangulation and suffocation.
She's never done anything that would ever lead me to believe that she would do something to harm herself.
And the family says next they are considering going to Zanzibar themselves to try to get as many answers as possible. Now, we also tried to directly contact Ashlee's fiance, the resort, and the embassy, but we did not hear back. I'm live in the Satellite Center, Cheyenne Crime Channel 6.
And essentially told the parents that something happened to her, but did not go into details or say exactly what happened to Ashlee, right? And so Ashlee was a social media influencer. She was living in Miami. She was in multiple music videos for rappers. Like I know she was in that Drake music video, Way Too Sexy. What's that man named Kevin Gates?
How y'all doing? How y'all doing? You know, we keeping it organic. Me and my little chocolate Easter bunny. Babe, stop playing. Babe, you know I'm sensitive, babe. We about to get in a lick. This her car. She probably she just came for to pick me up.
Something like, not too crazy.
She from Philly, so you know she crazy, she toxic. She might stab
you.
You might stab me in my sleep.
I'm not
You
touching.
told me if I take my hands off, you gonna beat me up.
Because I'm good with my hands.
I ain't want no trouble. I love y'all. Y'all have a beautiful day.
And a couple other people in the industry, right? So she was somewhat of a model. She was a video vixen in a way, right? And a social media influencer, what we would call it in today's time. And it's just very, you know, what I don't like that's coming out with all of this, right, is how there are certain men, black men on the internet, who are basically trying to make it seem or appear as if Ashley was a self-hating black woman where she did not like black men and put down black men. They're trying to say, oh, well, I'm not, too concerned about her passing away because this is what she said when she was alive about black men. But some of that has been rebutted because she responded to a comment or responded to a post of like a black man doing something crazy. And so her friends have came out and spoke out about that. And then I guess she said some posts that she's going to have mixed babies one day. And
so nobody else going to say it, man. I'm going to be the one to say it. Y'all really reaching with the tweets when it comes to Ashlee Janae, man. And we're going to go over these tweets, right? And we're going to do it unbiased, without our feelings, and just straight facts. So let's talk about it. So one of her tweets right now that's viral is a tweet of her saying, and I quote, "Everyday black men wake up and find new ways to embarrass us." And basically she was saying in that tweet, or that retweet per se, it was a video that's no longer on Twitter, but talking to some of the people that were around her, they were saying it was a video of a black guy, eating some watermelon all crazy in front of white people. Bruh. I know, right? A video of a black man eating watermelon in front of a group of white people. Bruh. That's what y'all complain about. That is what y'all complain about? Bruh. Oh, and here's another tweet that really got y'all up in arms, right? This tweet says, and I quote, "I've been saying since the 3rd grade, my children will be mixed. LMAO. Bruh. Alright, so here's another tweet that got y'all really up in arms. This tweet says, and I quote, "My baby gonna be mixed when I have a child." Bruh. And here's another tweet that got y'all mad, real mad about it. "Mixed babies are cute." Bruh. So now here's where we start using critical thinking, y'all. So on one of the tweets that she had tweeted out, she said, and I quote, "I've been saying since the 3rd grade, my children will be mixed." Right? She made that tweet back on March 3rd, 2013. Now, if she just turned 31 this year, right? She just turned 31, y'all. If she just turned 31, how old would she have been when she made that tweet? She was 17 years old. So y'all are pulling up tweets of what she said at 17 years old to try to paint her in a picture of a bad light? Bruh. Now, the next tweet she has said, and I quote, "Mixed babies are cute." She made that tweet back in February 27th, 2014, which means she was 18 at that time. Right? Bruh. So, again, you guys are reaching really, really hard to try to paint this woman out to be a bad person. But I pulled up some tweets that I feel like should have been viral, and they're not. So let's talk about tweets that she posted that actually should have been viral. So if we're going to talk about her tweets that should have been viral, let's actually talk about it. So this tweet right here, she was responding to somebody, and she said, and I quote, "I'm just tired of seeing black men talking down on black women and vice versa, saying they only date a certain race." So if she's saying that she doesn't like it with certain people or saying they only date a certain race, why would she be a person to say that she hates black men when she doesn't even like seeing that and seeing other people talk that way? Goofies. Here's another tweet that she actually said that should have been viral. She said, and I quote, "I've dated white guys for as long as I can remember, but I've never bashed black men or belittled them while doing so." I wonder why that tweet was never made viral. And of course, right, of all the tweets that she's made, I feel like this tweet right here should be the most viral tweet that she's actually done. This tweet right here, right, which says, and I quote, "Suicide is never the answer." But y'all didn't want to tweet that. Y'all just wanted to push a narrative to make it seem like she hates black men. She has a hatred for black people. It's not even true. It's just crazy, right? Because I've seen her on Clubhouse. You know, we've been in a couple rooms together and stuff like that. And she never had no like negative vibes or negative energy or anything like that. She was always mad cool. You know, I just think that social media has a way of portraying people in a certain light. When something tragic happens, you know, you can either get painted in a good light or in a bad light. And I'm seeing her getting painted in a bad light, and that's just not the type of person that she is. So that's why I wanted to make this video, just for y'all to understand what the real truth is about her. You can't go on her Twitter and find her really saying anything disparaging. The stuff that y'all found is not even anything, bro. It's really not. And honestly, y'all are just simply brainwashed because somebody else told you on social media that she was saying something bad, and you looked at it and you just ran with it. And that's really a big problem, a huge problem in our community now. But I'll make another video for that on another day.
You know, but it was nothing terrible that I saw in comparison to like the other black men who we've talked about on this channel who were unalived by their white partners, right? So, I mean, they tried to start or spearhead a conversation about that. That really kind of fell flat. I mean, whatever, to each his own. You know, nevertheless, it's sad because this is a serious situation where a young lady has lost her life, and it just seems like this was not something she intentionally wanted to have done. People are speculating that he might have had something to do with it because it's just a very odd situation. And so we're hearing stories of like so here are some of the things that I'm hearing that I don't know if it's true or not. This man had ties to this hotel that he and his fiance were staying at. His best friend or a friend that he knows owns this hotel. He frequents this country or this town in Africa quite often. I heard that Ashley, and now this I think has been confirmed, but Ashley and him had an argument. The argument was so bad they had to be separated and put in two different rooms.
I'm an African. I'm in Africa. You can say whatever you want about me, but I'm going to speak the truth. And he is known. He's a frequent visitor. They know him. That changes the story. It's not like somebody who just went there for the first time. And then he also chose a place where the police can be bribed.
Okay, elaborate on that. Tell us a little bit about the culture in foreign countries such as Zanzibar or Tanzania, Africa. How are white men viewed there?
Basically, they worship them.
You said worship?
Yeah, kind of like they hold them in high regard.
And if he did this, right, if he is responsible for the unaliving of this young woman, I am of the belief that there was some DV involved, right? And that this was not because like I can't foresee someone just in a heat of passion, in the heat of the moment, just unaliving someone, and there has not been any verbal, especially physical, happening, right? I feel like I can only say so much on the internet or on YouTube specifically because of the guidelines. But nevertheless, so I watched Sloan Bella. I know, like, a very unpopular opinion, but Sloan Bella had a very interesting theory of what she thinks might have happened to Ashlee Janae, where she said that this is a man who had dealings on the black dark web, and he gambles. It sounded like something out of a Black Mirror episode, but basically he gambles, make bets on the dark web. Basically, there are people watching him and telling him, do this next by this time, like propose to her, take her to this country, travel here with her, do this with her, start an argument with her, and he put money into his account. And apparently Ashley had an account that she was unaware of, and they put money in Ashley's account. And so one of the things that Sloan Bella said interesting is that there were two men or two people following them on this trip, and these two men might have had something to do with the unaliving of Ashlee Janae, right?
Okay, but did you guys hear what Sloan Bella was saying about this Ashlee Janae and Joe situation? She just dropped a video on YouTube, and it's extremely heartbreaking. This man was allegedly involved in some dark web shit, and he was doing certain things for monetary gain.
He lost a lot of his money. In fact, it was taken away as punishment because he refused to do something. This guy is a facilitator on the dark web. I don't know quite what that means. I don't know what he facilitates, whether it's people, drugs, gambling. It's definitely gambling. And here's another thing. Just like hunting parties, okay, in different parts of the country that the elites go on and they hunt people, this guy was in a gambling ring on the dark web, okay? Like in a gambling ring on the dark web, where the premise is, if we're to look at it like this, the people put money down into his account or into the girlfriend's account. She doesn't know she has an account, by the way, but into their money accounts. And it's like, if he does this by this time, that's a check mark and he'll get $10,000. I'm making up the amounts, but it's kind of like that. It's kind of like a Simon Says with the benefit of getting money on the back end. So to earn back the money that you lost, took, stole, embezzled, okay, which then led me, when I heard the word embezzled, to the government indictments against him in the United States. So they were coming down with indictments against him for other things he did in the business world. I don't know what they would be, but he literally skipped the country to get indictments away from him physically, or their inability to come after him. That's why he picked this time frame. He literally was sinking and crashing and decided to pull a coup over here by leaving the country. So the embezzling, he was trying to get away from that. But whatever's going on in the dark web or around the dark web is causing people to up the ante, up the bets. I think you got to have sex with her by this time. I think you got to take her out here. I want to see you propose by this date. I want to see her in the hospital by this date. I want to see her taken off the planet by this date. Let's get some people to verify it. Let's get these two guys to follow you to make sure you live up to what you said you'd do on this gambling site on the dark web so that you can gain your money back by doing this over here. It's a really perverted game.
And so there's a picture that's circulating on the internet of Ashlee Janae, essentially with some animals or an animal. I can't remember exactly. I think it was a giraffe. And you can see there's two men in the background of this photo watching her. And so it's creepy to think about, right? But also there are speculations that Ashley could have been a lady of the night at some point, and this is how she probably connected with this white man in a way that I don't know. Sloan Bella's theory was very interesting to me. I also saw another psychic, because I be watching stuff like this. Boots Tarot said that he doesn't think that Ashlee Janae is unalive, but she might have been trafficked or something like that. I do believe that she is unalive and she is no longer here with us. But this is a very, like, just be careful, because you never know who you are dealing with. We are finding out more and more today how dangerous men can be. And I feel like a lot of times you can tell based on a person's facial structure if they're like a nefarious being or not. Because like looking at the pictures of this man and him having beady eyes, like I just don't trust people with beady eyes. And I know it sounds bad, and I can't categorize and put them all in the same, like don't trust them. But like looking at him and his beady eyes, he just does not look like someone you can trust. And just all the stories we're hearing about the femicide of women that are coming out with the situation in Shreveport, Louisiana, with the situation of Ashlee Janae, the situation of the former lieutenant governor and his wife, I think Fairfax family. And just hearing all of these stories is just showing us how people say you pick the man or the bear. Girl, seems like we're gonna pick the bear, because the way that it's going, it's like y'all are not beating the allegations, men, for the most part, from what we're hearing. Not all men are like this, but what I'm saying is it's really scary to hear stories like this, and it's just a cautionary tale of having to just be careful, be mindful. And I'm also feeling like I might have heard that her mother did not necessarily trust this man and tried to warn Ashley about him, and she did not listen, because even as a grown adult, especially as an adult, you're for the most part not going to listen to your parents because you feel like you're an adult, you know it all, you know, all these other things. And it's unfortunate. And a beautiful girl life has been cut short from this world. I pray for her family. I pray for Ashley. I pray that we find out the truth. And it's really hard to not believe that this man didn't do it, because a lot of times when a woman is unalive, the first person who is to blame, who is the one to look at, the first suspect is the spouse, it is the boyfriend, it is the husband. But nevertheless, you guys, my name is Brittany Janae. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think about this whole Ashlee Janae situation, and hype this video up and ignore the blue tongue. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.